I want to talk to you today about one of the biggest problems with the Molotow Rollerball Dripstick. And then I want to show you how to make it a way better, much more awesome graffiti writing and tagging implement. The biggest problem with these Molotow Rollerball Dripsticks is, you know, they absolutely nailed it with this nice small body. It's perfectly squeezable in the mini version at least and controllable. The refill from the back system is nice, and the actual rollerball is big, it's well made, and hasn't ever broken for me at least. But then they went and filled it with like this sort of runny sort of paint, and I don't know why they would do that. And maybe they did that on purpose. We all love our nice drippy tags, but I think that it would look much better writing with a nice, thick, juicy paint formula. So today I'm going to be doing some tags on this nice, sort of smooth, sort of rough, nice wood surface behind me here. First with the normal paint formula that comes in the Molotow Rollerball Dripstick. And then after that, we'll be filling it with one of my personal all-time favorite paint formulae, and that is the stuff that comes in the Grog Metalheads, the Grog Ruff Stuff paint. We'll be doing some tags with it filled with the Ruff Stuff paint to see the differences. And I want you guys to weigh in on this as well. Am I crazy, or is this just the simplest, best way to beef up the Molotow Rollerball Dripstick? So first, right now, I have this pre-filled with the permanent alcohol-based glossy paint that the Molotow Dripstick Rollerballs come pre-filled with. I'll do some tags with that of subscriber names who have asked me for hit-offs, and then after that, we'll fill it up with the Grog Ruff Stuff paint to see the differences. And as always, whenever I'm featuring any kind of graffiti product in a video, I'll have a link in the description below to where you can actually pick one of these up for yourself if you're interested. So let's get to it. All right, so we're gonna start off just with some nice drippy tags here. It's a little bit empty here. So as you can see, there's not a huge amount of drippage here, but the drips that you are getting are just sort of in weird spots and with weird consistencies. It flattens out, it spreads out in strange places that you would normally not really expect. It's not at the ends of letters, it's not really at the bottom of letters or points, and it's just the paint itself has a weird consistency to it that I'm not really partial to. Another thing I want to mention about this paint formula is it's just sort of dull, and I've mentioned that in other videos talking about this same paint formula as well, but you will see how dull it is when we directly compare it side by side with the Grog Ruff Stuff paint. If you're the kind of graffiti writer that enjoys the sort of loose look that you can get, for lack of a better word, with this type of rollerball style tagging implement, but you also don't like weird drips and weird consistencies, then I think this Ruff Stuff paint is going to be the ticket for this Molotow Rollerball Dripstick. And I also think the thicker paint formula will sort of complement the nice large rollerball that is on this Molotow Rollerball Dripstick and allow it to sort of feature the nice loose style that you can get with the rollerball style tags. So now that we've got a good visual here for how it looks with the Molotow paint formula in it, I'm gonna fill it up with the Ruff Stuff paint and we'll do a side-by-side comparison. A nice bonus you'll find with this Ruff Stuff paint is that it just smells amazing. Some people couldn't care less about that, but it's one of the best ones. So this is now full to the brim with the Ruff Stuff paint. Let's put these side by side, see what we're dealing with here. If the surface was a little bit rougher, it would actually probably be a little more ideal. So if anything else, you can see that this red here, which is actually called Foundry Orange, I guess it's sort of orange, is much more vibrant than, say, the Molotow paint formula. And actually, if I had to say, I'd say that this is actually a little bit too thick by itself for the Molotow Rollerball Dripstick. It might be interesting to see what a nice mix of like half and half of each of these would do to the rollerball here. I do actually have a full in-depth review of Grog Rough Stuff paint. If you do want to check that out, it'll be in the cards in the corner or linked in the description as well. But for me personally, the sort of like more three-dimensional look that you can get with the Rollerball Dripstick here filled with the Rough Stuff paint is just that much more present and noticeable. I really like that about the Rough Stuff paint, whereas you're definitely getting the complete opposite of that, entirely two-dimensional with the Molotow formula. If I had to guess right now, I would say I would be really satisfied with like a 50-50 mix of the Rough Stuff paint and the Molotow paint or something like that. And that's the beauty of graffiti. It's entirely up to you. You can use this kind of formula or any other that you in particular prefer. That's all down to personal preference. That's also sort of why people sort of make themselves look dumb when they talk about why you should only use specific kinds of paint or you should only use DIY supplies. It just doesn't really make sense. So although I do like the more three-dimensional look of these tags in general, you do lose a bit of the quickness that you can get with this more runny formula that just sort of pours out, which obviously is a big factor. A lot of people are just 100% used to really swift motions with any kind of tagging implement, and because of that probably wouldn't enjoy this kind of thing. But for me, I don't care either way. I can do both. And I feel personally that this allows you to write on some surfaces a little bit better and have that more three-dimensional look to it. So unlike most of my reviews, I don't really have anything to say in terms of what kind of graffiti writers I think would enjoy mixing this formula with this marker like I sort of usually would for a review of something, because this kind of thing comes almost entirely down to just personal preference, as I mentioned. So in that case, all I really have to say is if you want to pick up a Molotow Rollerball Dripstick, specifically in the Sciz as well, to try out for yourself, there is that link in the description, of course. Definitely feel free to weigh in the comments if you found some good formula mixtures that are good for a rollerball specifically, or really anything else. Of course, we all love to just talk about graph, and the more knowledge we can share with each other within the graffiti community, the more we know and the better off we all are. You can check out a full review of this Grog Rough Stuff paint formula on screen now, as well as any of the other many graffiti series we have here on the channel. I'll see you over in one of those videos. Until then, peace.